Hello everyone, Niko Amii here, and today I'm talking about a problem that is increasingly getting worse in the gaming industry and in the world in general. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a huge issue, but it is getting worse and worse and worse, and that is the stereotype of gamers and how we think and how we perceived and how we just imagine gamers before even talking to and meeting them. And this isn't just in the gaming community, it's more outside, if anything. And as of recent, video games have gotten increasingly popular in terms of competitiveness, and you see a lot more, I guess, tournaments and especially streams online. There's more people watching streams online of competitive video gaming than you see on the TV with some of the biggest sports like tennis and golf. Like, most big gaming communities and gaming tournaments get more viewers on Twitch than the average golf or tennis game does on the TV. So the popularity of gaming in general has gotten a lot bigger. And people have been really against gaming becoming considered a real sport, and this is kind of being a problem of gamers, people who game, versus athletes and people who play real games, and that's stupid. Honestly, stop it. I think there's lanes for both. Do I really think that video games should be considered on the same tier of football in terms of athleticism? No, I don't. But I don't know anything about football. The only reason I know who the players and the teams are in the Super Bowl is because I'm watching to see a commercial on Pokemon. See, I'm not watching to watch the game. I'm watching to see a commercial about a children's game, okay? So I'm not one to talk, but I don't think people should be judgmental of gaming and the gaming industry. And one of the biggest stereotypes is people who play video games suck at real sports. And I'm not going to go out and say that's not completely true or untrue, but it's not true at all. Like, people, just because you play sports does not mean you are better than someone who plays video games. And just because you're someone who plays video games doesn't mean you're worse than someone who plays real sports. And people who, I don't care, you can fight me on this. Just because you play football doesn't mean you're cooler than me and because I play Pokemon, okay? Like, it's childish, yes, but just because you play football and you might know how to throw a leather ball across a field of grass does not mean you're better than me, who plays with little animated creatures on a video game, okay? We both do stupid stuff. Don't think that throwing a leather ball across a field of grass is cooler and is more respectable than playing a video game. Like, I don't see, like, do you get the comprehension? Like, holding a metal rod and smacking a plastic ball, okay? Having a big orange ball and throwing it into a wooden net. Like, there's no real purpose to any of these things, and just because mine is on a video game does not mean it's less important or not as cool as yours. Just because yours is, I don't even know, just because it was created before, like, I don't even know where that comes from. And the stereotype that every single gamer is a fat kid on the TV, just sitting in front of the TV with Doritos and Mountain Dew, with long greasy hair, and doesn't go outside of his house more than 5 minutes a year, that is a stereotype that is also more coming to life. And you definitely see the whole Mountain Dew and Dorito thing going around more too. Like, just because I'm a gamer does not mean I hate people in the real world, okay? Like, I play video games. That doesn't mean I'm some type of thing. And I'm not saying the stereotype is on the level of other stereotypes and other prejudices, which it's not even on that level at all. This issue isn't as serious as others. But I'm just saying it is kind of stupid how people assume just because you are a video gamer means you stink at real life sports, you must stink at everything, you're just a low life scum. Look at me getting emotions out. But just because you are a gamer does not mean you are a this is no, like, criticism of fat people with greasy hair either. You are fantastic. But just because you are a gamer doesn't mean you're a loser who just sits behind a keyboard. Just because you sit behind a keyboard all day doesn't mean you're a loser either. Does that make people who go out on a field of grass all day throwing a leather ball, just in the sun, does that make them a loser? Like, can we bring it down to the real life now? Just because football, you generally see famous football players with, like, big beefy arms and, like, all that, does that, just because they're playing a game, I'm playing a game, we're both playing games here, it's a game, okay? You see what I say? Just, your game isn't better than my game, and my game isn't better than your games. They're both games, things to do for fun. But then it also comes to a competitive level where people are getting money now. People are getting paychecks for playing these video games. People get paychecks for playing those other games. Okay, here's another thing. People get mad at the people who get money for Twitch. People get money for playing athletic games competitively on the TV. Why can't people who get the same amount of viewers who are playing a different type of game get the same money? They're definitely not, competitive gamers are definitely not getting the same amount of money as competitive football players, which I think eventually we'll get to that point. But I do not understand how people get angry at people who get money from playing video games. But they're the same people who sit there and watch people, like, men throw around a basketball across a gymnasium, okay? They're both games. They're both something people do for fun or for money. Like, they're both equally tamed. And don't even get me started about just in general, like, when you say the word gamer, the first thing people think is something negative, but the second you mention football player, they think something positive. It's like on the same line of an astronaut or a president. Like, people admire football players, but they look down on gamers, which, like I said, it's the same thing. And then I think something we should applaud the gaming industry. I see a lot more people of different races, different ethnicities, sexualities, genders, all throughout the gaming field. But when you look at any real competitive sport outside of women's wrestling, which is just like a fetish anyways, no offense, but that's what it is. You only like it because you see women fight each other, which is like, okay, anyways. Just because, like, when you look online or you look on the TV, it's mostly just men of the same age group, the same ethnicities, and the same, like, football is not as diverse, I don't think, as the gaming industry, and that's something I think we should applaud the gaming industry, because I think anyone of any gender, age, look-wise, anyone could become a gamer, and anyone can play games and can get good at it. Meanwhile, when you look at football players, there's a box you have to fit in for football, where gamers, it's more open. I think we accept people of all things, if that makes sense. Where if you look at the football, it's mostly, you never see female football players. There's tons of female gamers. You never see wimpy, short guys play football, which I guess that's the aesthetic of playing football. You have to be pretty strong to play football. But I'm just saying, overall, I think the gaming industry is more accepting of more people, and more people can become professional gamers than professional footballers, basketballers, anything. I'm not playing down those sports, but I'm just saying, you're judging gamers, but you really should self-reflect before you say, you're a gamer. You stink at anything that isn't gaming. You're a loser, a lowlife. You are a fat kid with Doritos and Mountain Dew in your hand, and all you do is sit behind a screen all day. That's not the case, and that's a stereotype that I think in the gaming industry and outside of the gaming industry, that's how everyone thinks of a gamer without knowing the person. Wow, I just, like, poured all my emotions out. Bottom line, I personally believe that playing video games is on the same level of playing football or tennis or swimming, basketball, all types of sports are the same as gaming, which I consider an e-sport. If you think about it, both are things you can do for fun. Both don't make any sense at all, really. Like, again, wooden stick moving around a plastic black disc into a rope sewed net. Playing on, where did my desk go? Playing on a visual game, okay? Like, I don't see how this is stupider or makes less sense than going through and playing a sport with, I don't know, a rubber leather ball being thrown around a grass field. Like, I don't see where one is better than the other. And I'm not downplaying sport, like real sports. I'm just saying that you shouldn't look down upon people whose sport isn't going outside and throwing a ball around. Okay? Does that make sense? And I know it's a lot of older people who think this way because they don't understand gaming yet, but people like parents who are watching, I have a 20% demographic of 30 plus. I think it's, if you add them all up, it's like a 30% 30 plus. So there must be some parents in there. Parents, shut up, okay? You don't tell your kid that becoming a video game creator, a video game player, is less rewarding or less important than becoming a football player. If your kid wants to play a video game and become professional, either creating a video game or just an artist for a video game or something like that, don't downplay that and say it's less important, because you're discouraging their dreams, and they're going to end up being like a sportscaster who hates their life and ends up jumping off a wagon at Wendy's. Okay? You don't want them to end up being a random person jumping off a wagon on Wendy's, okay? You want them to fulfill their dreams. So, I don't know how to end this, but I've been jumping around a lot. But again, the bottom line is, just because your sport is different than my sport does not mean your sport is more important than my sport, okay? About the clock's gonna ring. See, even it's telling me to stop. I'm wearing a Nike shirt, which is very unlike me. Like, I'm usually wearing a Splatoon shirt or something, but I'm very, like, this is contradicting, isn't it? But, and again, enjoy your Super Bowl fans. I'm gonna be watching the Super Bowl because there's a Pokemon ad and the halftime show. So, I'm gonna do me, you do you. Don't judge me for me, and I won't judge you for you. Bottom line, that's it. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. If you like gaming, subscribe.